What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? This is your boy, your cousin, your nephew, your brother, Mr. Inclusive Lamar, and I'm here with my lovely co-host. What's your name?
Sophia.
Sophia, and we are the co-host of Lip Talk,
Talk.
living your.
Purpose. All
That
of
was that was me
that.
writing. That was me writing purpose. If you didn't, anyway, we are here with another installation installment of Living Your Purpose Lip Talk, and um, what happened? You good?
Yeah.
You got a call from the CSI or something? You gotta make a run.
No.
Work for the government, y'all. Just want y'all to know that she real. She top secret agent, so I can't be. So anyway, I'm just playing. I'm lying. But I hope y'all had a wonderful week, and we are here with another um, session of purpose therapy. Just wanted to let that sit in, just in case y'all was, whatever. And I wanted to remind y'all, of course, again, like we always do, before we start, smash that like button, bang on that notification button, press the bell, make sure it dings, make sure I want to hear it ding. So when you ever, ever get a notification, you know that it's from Lip Talk. Ooh, nobody else, just Lip Talk. All right, YouTube, Spotify, follow us. What else? Facebook, follow us, like, share. Anchor, Google, Apple, all of that. Even on Instagram, follow us because we're on there as well. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about I found this article, Sophia, right? And it was talking about it says purpose, the misconception of purpose. That is only a thing you find. That purpose is something that you find, right?
Mhm.
And the person was saying that purpose is not a thing that you find, but more so something that you build. And I was like, all right, okay, TD Jakes.
Is TD Jakes the one who said that in the article?
No, I just felt like that
Oh,
was something that he would
uh,
say.
yeah.
Definitely
He
something he would
is
say.
our modern day philosopher.
Yes, definitely. Shout out
Mhm.
to TD Jakes. Yup. Get ready, get ready, get ready. All right. So I really was into that. Like purpose is not something that you find or search for, but it's something that you build. Meaning, it's something that's already inside of you. So I'm going to go ahead and read what they wrote.
Okay.
So it says, they say misconception number one: purpose is only a thing you find. It says on social media, I often see an inspiring quotation attributed to Mark Twain. Attributed, sorry, to Mark Twain. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Great quote. It neatly articulates what I'll call the Hollywood version of purpose, like Neo in the Matrix or Ray in Star Wars. We're all just moving through life waiting until fate delivers a higher calling to us. So make no mistake, he says that can happen, at least in some form. I recently saw Scott Harrison of Charity Water speak, and in many ways, his story was about how he found a higher purpose after a period of wandering. I'm trying to figure out wandering like in his mind, or was he like just walking for no reason? Right?
Yeah.
But I think it's rarer than most people think. For the average 20-year-old in college or 40-year-old in an unfulfilling job, searching for the silver bullet to give life meaning is more likely to end in frustration than fulfillment. In achieving professional purpose, most of us have to focus as much on making our work meaningful as in taking meaning from it. I'm gonna read that again. In achieving professional purpose, most of us have to focus as much on making our work meaningful as in taking meaning from it. Put differently, purpose is a thing you build, not a thing you find. Almost any
Mm.
work can possess remarkable purpose. I believe that's true. Like a school bus driver, it bears enormous responsibility caring for and keeping dozens of kids safe. Like a nurse plays an essential role not simply in treating people's medical conditions, but also in guiding them through some of life's most difficult times. Cashiers can be a friendly, uplifting interaction in someone's day, often desperately needed or forgettable or regrettable one. But in each of these instances, purpose is often primarily derived from focusing on what's so meaningful and purposeful about the job, and on doing it in such a way that that is meaning that meaning is enhanced and takes center stage. Sure, some jobs more naturally lends themselves of sense to sense of meaning, but many require at least some deliberate effort to invest them with the purpose we seek. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
I took that and I said, out of all that he said, what stuck out to me is purpose is not something you find, it is something you build. And I took that as meaning that is that when we're born, it's like spiritually, the purpose was already in us, right? It was given to us internally, spiritually, and it's kind of like it's kind of like having eggs in us, like a mother bird having to hatch eggs, right? She
Mm-hmm.
already knows that she has these eggs and what can possibly be in these eggs, but she still has to hatch them. She still has to sit on them and nurture them and for them to hatch, crack, open up, and become baby birds. I believe that's what our purpose is. Our purpose is inside of us as little eggs, and as we grow and we find out little things, little nuances about who we are, our purpose is then revealed to us in more ways than one. And all we have to do is tap into it. So I believe that, because when we think about finding your purpose, it's like somebody going on an adventure or going on a scavenger hunt and where is thy purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Purpose, if you hear me, say yes. That's trying to find it. Marco, your purpose is supposed to be polo, right?
Right.
And it doesn't work that way. Some people can stumble onto their purpose by ending up somewhere that they probably never meant to end up on, like somebody walking onto a Hollywood set and they're getting an opportunity. And they find it to be, oh, okay, maybe this is what I was supposed to do after doing it a few times. But a lot of people, it's already, for the most part, it's already in you. What do you think about that? Do you think that's true?
Um, I
That is
think,
not to find, but it's more to build.
yeah, I think, that's interesting. I never actually heard that before. So I think that it makes sense because the essence of us is always the essence of us. I think if you
Right.
took me and switched me with somebody who had a different life experience, the outcome would be different simply because it's me, right? So you know how people say you can put two people on the same path, or even think about your siblings. Like you all grew up in the same home, you have the same parents, but you're completely different. I have
Mm.
two sisters, and we are three totally different women. Okay,
Right.
so I think that that does play a lot to our essence, and I think that maybe purpose is a part of your essence and a part of who you are. So if you wake up in the morning and you are a school bus driver, that purpose is in you. Whatever your impact is supposed to be on humanity, that's what it's supposed to be. But maybe just the environment, like your decisions change the environment that you
Hmm.
impact people in. So that's interesting. I never thought about it like that, that your purpose is inside you. And So it's really just a matter of you like waking it up
Hmm.
and using it in whatever environment you're in. Uh, that's what I think about that. I've always looked at purpose like you have to figure out what it is, and not all the time, because I do feel like certain people, when they come into the world, it's very clear to them who they're supposed to be, what
Right.
they're supposed to do. Their path is very, like their gift is so extreme that there's really no way around it. Like that's what they're going to do. But I never thought about the fact that everybody inside of them has purpose. I have always thought that everybody had a natural uniqueness and essence, but I never thought about that. And that makes sense because if we're talking about like if God knew everybody before the world was formed and ordained everybody for whatever he ordained them for, then yeah, that is a part of their soul's journey. But I never thought about that until hearing that. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty deep. And I think if more people heard it in that way, they wouldn't feel like they wouldn't feel the anxiety of not knowing who they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to do. Because if you grew up your whole life feeling like it's already in you, man, that would cancel out so much
Very
uh
much.
so much self-doubt and all of that stuff. You would already know the essence, and whatever you're about to do, that you'll already know
Very
that,
much.
you know, you can work in that field or whatever because it's in you. So yeah, I think that's pretty darn interesting. I
So
think
let me
that's
ask you a question as I lean back in my chair.
oh, okay.
Have you ever had a moment, um, or are you living now, yeah, in your life where you're still building your purpose, even at your age, even with your career? Do you think you're
Um,
still building it? Like you're still in the building stages?
hmm. So I think I don't know if I feel like I'm still building it. I feel like I'm aware. I feel like I'm more aware. And I feel like every little thing that I do is there are a bunch of small purposes that are coming together for one big purpose.
Right, right,
Like,
right,
like there's these a bunch of small goals, but the outcome is the
right.
life that I lived. And, you know, yeah. I never looked at like my purpose as like a building type thing. I always looked at it like a source,
Right.
where I go to determine to make decisions and to determine how I'm going to move in certain situations. I never really thought about it in that way, in a building way, you know.
Okay. So you played what's it called? What's the Jenga? Played
Yeah.
Jenga before. You know the concept of Jenga. You gotta,
Yes.
flow with me with this metaphor. I guess I'm or flow with me. So you set it up. It's already built, the blocks, right?
Mhm.
And the concept of the game is taking a piece of block and putting it in another position, right? Putting it
Right.
on the other side of the Jenga statue, and you know that you've lost the game when the whole thing falls.
Right.
Imagine that being your purpose and your purpose road, right? And wherever you taking the block out and putting it, that's it's real strategic and how you're forming and building your purpose. So you have to really be careful of where you put these blocks, because it's detrimental or vital or important to for your purpose, right? Because any wrong move, any slight move, any bump, any wobble can just destroy it all, right? I would say that I'm still putting pieces up and probably even starting from the bottom, right? Starting from, I think I like to take pieces from the harder places, because it's what motivates me to really do it. Just go for it. Things that would normally scare me, and things that I wouldn't think that should do or would do, I go for those things first. Things that people tell me I can't do, I go for those things first. That's what I'm pulling out, and I'm gonna place it on top, right? I'm gonna place it in front of me so I know I'm right there with you. And a lot of times we get scared, we get flustered, we take out a piece and they be like, no, then we put it back because it don't because it seemed wobbly, so we put it back. But a lot of times, just imagine if you took a leap of faith, stepped out on it, and didn't care whether it was gonna fall or not, but you was strong enough spiritually to go ahead and take that piece out, and nothing happened, and you were able to put that to me is what building it does, continuously formatting it, continuously watching over how it's structured, making sure that it's not wobbly, because in life when we're going through so much, you know uh, inadvertently inadvertently it can become wobbly without even us touching it. you know People that we bring into our lives can make our purpose wobble. The decisions that we make can make our purpose wobble. And so that's why I ask, because I believe that for me, um I'm constantly, and I'm in my early 30s. I'll be 32 in June. So I'm constantly, definitely moving those blocks and building, putting those, even if it's something that I've moved recently, I'm gonna take. Now that don't fit right there. That person don't fit in my life. No, that job ain't. Let me take that out. Let me move it somewhere else, far away, so they ain't even gotta think about it. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and just knock this down. You know what I'm saying? And so when I think about when I think about you know where my focus level is, and oh, I hope you can hear that. Where my focus level is when it comes down to purpose being something that you find. If I find anything, it'll be my reason for that purpose, not the purpose in itself, if that makes sense. But why is this my purpose? I think that is more so something that you would search for, kind of like a searching within yourself type of thing, a searching within prayer, a searching within, some people may have to climb some mountains and stuff like that, go hiking or whatever. It deals with your mental to understand, or go to a homeless shelter, go to a youth shelter, go to whatever your purpose lies. You may have to go to that place in order to figure out why it's so important to you, or why this may be your purpose. Like for me, I don't believe in, if I'm gonna work at a school, I need to be able to walk through that school, look at how these kids, these teachers, and these faculties, how they operate, how is lunchtime, how is breakfast time, how is the principal interacting with these kids in these hallways? How are the Before I decide that I want to work at this school, because and that's with anything, honestly, because if I'm placing myself in your environment, I have to be comfortable enough to know that either you're going to give me your authentic self that can make me comfortable, or you're putting on. And so when I go and I search for, or I find the reason why I'm supposed to be here, and I get it, I think I think it's a great experience for a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people that have had those aha moments. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why. And I think that's the only way that's the only thing that you should be finding out is the why. What do you think? Or does that make sense?
I don't know, because I always associated purpose with the why.
Okay. Okay.
So I always thought that that was kind of synonymous, like your purpose is why you're doing whatever you're doing. I think so. That was something that I struggled with for a long time, like being able to choose the right environment,
Right.
choose the right people. And it's still something that I struggle with because I I don't know, I just feel weird. Um I feel weird about acknowledging, or I don't know if acknowledge is the right word, but sometimes I'll see a situation or I'll see, like, something, and I'm like, okay, stay away from that. And then a part of me is like, but you don't really have a right to to um to segregate yourself,
Mm,
because I always think that, like, when I think like that, and I know that it makes sense, like it makes sense not to put yourself in situations that you can't see, where you're aligned with whatever is going on in the situation. But sometimes I find myself feeling like you don't want to be elitist about it, and you don't want to feel like your light can't shine in any
right.
environment,
Right.
so then I always find myself just like going along. But I wish I was more like that. I wish I was more like, you know what? That's giving me a different kind of vibe. I'm not going there, but I can't
Yeah.
lie. Like, I've done things and I've taken on things just because, knowing and having that feeling, but just because I was asked or I was approached. And I think that that's what it is within me. I think that I just feel really challenged by saying that, like by saying, that's not an environment for you. I feel like I always feel some kind of way to give myself, that room to do that. And I do think that I need to be more like that. But I just never feel comfortable with being like that. So I don't know. I don't know what that is in me, but I know that it makes sense to me.
Right.
It makes
Right.
sense when somebody is like, well, don't do something that you get a bad feeling about, or don't be somewhere where you feel like, that's not going to be a good space for me. But I don't know. I don't know. That's something that I still have to work on. I don't think that I'll ever be fully comfortable saying, I'm saying no because I don't like this environment or the feeling that it gives me. Not in an extreme way. Like, I know, like, there are some environments like, no, I'm good. But
Right.
I
Exactly.
mean, like, just in a, like, something about my soul is telling me no. I can't. And I don't know. It's just, because what? I always feel like people like that. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's my perception of people who are like that stops me from being like that.
Mm,
But that's fair, like, it's fair to you to say no or to avoid certain situations and scenarios. That, like, to me, a person who can say no is a person who really knows themselves. Somebody who's comfortable with saying no, because for a fact that ain't gonna go down. And
right.
I've never been comfortable like that. So that's how I get caught up a lot. But but yeah, for me, like, I always felt like your purpose is your why. And if you already know what your purpose is, everything that you do, you can find a way to put that why into it.
Right.
I'm doing this show, but I'm going to make sure that I include literacy. Like if your purpose is to be a spreader of literacy,
Right.
like so I don't know. I never like separated them like that, you know?
I listen. I am a person that have adopted and learned the importance of no while dealing with this whole purpose thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like getting myself involved and then literally saying, because a lot of people feel like I'm already involved, I'm already into it, I don't want to go. No, I've tried, I've done all I can, and I no longer want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And because if you make a decision and it turns out to be a really really bad decision, you're gonna look back on that and be like, I why didn't I get out when I had the chance? And
Yeah.
now look at me. Now I'm stuck in the contractual agreement. I'm stuck with all of these responsibilities when I could have just opted out like I wanted to. But because
Mm.
of being nice, because of being trying to do, someone a favor, doing favors ain't got nothing to do with your purpose. That those things don't match at all. If it because if it's something that you like you said, if it's something that it's like a no, and you got that feeling. That gut feeling is never gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
It's never gonna lie to you. It's really important to always listen to that gut feeling, listen to your conscience, as we saw how they used to do it back in the day on TV with the devil on this side and the angel on that side.
Right.
You gotta choose who to listen to, because only one is gonna be right and only one is gonna be right for you and giving you what you need to hear. And that conscious thing is when it's weighing heavily on you to where it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and you can't wait for it to be like 6 so you can call them and be like, so
I'm not
about
giving it
this.
up.
I'm not going to. And I've had to do that. I've had to do it, and honestly, without really giving an explanation. I just don't want. I don't see that in my path. I don't see that for my life. I don't see that for who I am. I've become not real big, but I've become accepting to the importance of image, right? And knowing that to a lot of people, image matters. How you present yourself matters. And if I just do anything just because I want to have a long list of things in my career that I've done or a great resume, that I just put my name on anything, what what my purpose can easily be tainted by the things that I say yes to. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
My
I think
impact
that's very true.
my impact can easily be tainted by the things that I put my name on. And so it's really something that okay, I feel like this is something that I'm supposed to do because it just won't go away. It's feel like something that it's just a part of me. That purpose thing, that it's just a part of me. And the more you build it, the more it starts making sense. And the more you know why. I believe the more you get into doing what your purpose is, the less you have to ask yourself why. But you'll always definitely have to ask
I
yourself
still
why.
have to what?
The less you have to ask yourself why am I doing
Oh,
it, the
mm-hmm.
more you'll know why, right?
Yeah.
Because in the beginning you're gonna ask yourself why. You're gonna wonder, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Even though you love it. But because we're such um curious people. We're all curious Georges here, to where we think that we're constantly missing out on something, or we should be doing what our sister or our brother is doing. We should be doing what the family's doing. We should be doing, what somebody said that we look like we need to be doing. If we was to answer to those people, we'll never do our purpose. We'll never, you know. And so it's one of those things where I this article, it says this is another thing, another one of their misconceptions, right? It says purpose is a single thing, right? That's what it says. Purpose is a single thing. You can't hear me. It goes on to say the second misconception I often hear is that purpose can be articulated as a single thing. Some people genuinely do seem to have an overwhelming purpose in their lives. Mother Teresa lived her life to serve the poor. Samuel Johnson poured every part of himself into his writing. Marie Curie devoted her energy to her work. We were just talking about this earlier. And yet, even these luminaries had other sources of purpose in their life. Mother Teresa served the poor as part of what she believed was a higher calling. Curie, the Nobel Peace Prize winning scientist, was also a devoted wife and mother. She wrote a biography of her husband Pierre, and one of her daughters, Irene, won her own Nobel Peace Prize. And Johnson, beyond his writing, was known to be a great humanitarian in his community, often caring personally for the poor. It goes on to say most of us will have multiple sources of purpose in our lives. For me, I find purpose in my children, my marriage, my faith, my writing, my work, and my community. What you said earlier in another segment. For almost everyone, there's no one thing we can find. It's not purpose, but purposes we are looking for. The multiple sources of the multiple sources of meaning that helps us find value in our work and lives. Professional commitments are only one component of this meaning, and often our work isn't central to our own purpose, but a means to helping others, including our families and communities. It's not just a single thing.
Mhm.
It's not just one thing. It may be in one group category, but it's multiple things that you can do within that scope, right? I don't believe you have one single purpose. You have a lot of things that you do. You have a purpose of being a mother. That's not afforded to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I truly look at motherhood or parenthood as a purpose and a responsibility for your children. Uh-oh, we lost Sophia. We're gonna get her back. So with that being said, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back with more lip talk. Sophia, where are you? Whew, we got
Mhm.
Sophia back. I thought she was gone for a minute. She
I
left me
was
out.
gone for a
She
minute.
was gone for a minute. It's technology. It's all in the technology, y'all. We're working it out. But we're
Yeah.
here. We're back. We're back. So let's cause I forgot where I was. I ain't even going front.
Let me see. What were you saying? You were saying that we don't have just one purpose. There's
Uh,
multiple purposes that a person can have.
right. Okay. So yeah. And I believe that because I believe that I have um purposes within the one frame that I do,
Mhm.
and it's for multiple purposes, right? Well, I believe that in everything that I do, it blends into that one, but it's different things that I do. So either way you look at it, it's still for the people that don't see you teach. They see you act. People don't they don't see you act. They know you as a podcaster. People that don't see you podcast, they know you as, whatever. And they glean from that. And you may not even know, sometimes you may not even know what you're doing is impactful. I said on here before that I've been walked up on and told how much of a blessing that I was doing whatever, and not no, I was just like, I just love doing it. It's just fun for me, not knowing that it was really truly changing lives. And once I got to that thought of knowing that I was actually changing lives, I took it more seriously. I approached it differently. Have you ever had one of those moments where you got like a reassurance of something, and you then approach that a little bit differently?
Um, you know what I did? I Do you remember when we did dang, I forgot the name of that show, but it was an A.G. Wells show, and the main character, she was kind of like schizophrenic or something.
Side effects.
Okay, so when we
I was your
started
brother.
that, okay, so I'm talking about side effects when, yes, because I don't know if I did side effects before, because I did another show with him. Maybe I don't know. But
You
there was a
did you
point when Cheryl was the main character.
side
But I'm
effects.
talking about the time when I was the main character.
Side effects. We were
And so,
in another city because
yeah, we went
Tabisky
to
had played.
Georgia.
Yes, Tabisky had played
Okay,
our
yeah.
uncle, and
Right. That's it. So, okay, he was like, the director was like, shout out to A.G. Wells.
yo,
Okay, so he was like, I want you to sing these two songs. He never told me that he wanted me to sing while I was doing the play. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, he brought it up to me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was really like nervous about that because, singing for me, you know. So he was just like, in the rehearsals, I would be singing and I would be real, like, self-conscious about it. And I remember we were at the actual theater in Georgia, and somebody had the song saved from practice, from rehearsal, saved on their phone. So all the way up until the show day, I was thinking, oh, I just hate the way I sound when I sing that song. And then somebody had it saved on their phone, and we were like in hair and makeup before the show started, and they started playing it. And it sounded so good. And I was
mm,
like, man, all this time I've been being hard on myself about this song, and I've been singing it. I should have recorded myself singing it so that I could, hear what it sounds like,
right.
because I was really like hard on myself about that. I was just like, really, the lines, I was like, okay, but just having to sing that one particular song, I was just like, man. And when she played it, I don't remember whose cell phone it was, but I just remember thinking, dang, I sound really good.
Mm,
And that was like, that was affirmation for me, because when she played the song, everybody in the room got quiet. I remember somebody was like, who is that? Like, and everybody was just like, wow, that sounds really good. And it just really gave me a boost. And I remember after the show, another actor came up to me and he was like, man, you did everything. You acted, you sang. He was like saying that to me, and I'm like, dang. So I think for me,
hmm
like, sometimes the affirmation, and it shouldn't always be like this, we should be able to affirm ourselves. And I do
right.
affirm myself, when I'm
Yes,
sure about things, when I'm confident, I am.
right.
But hearing somebody else who's doing the same thing, who you think is good at what they do, it really gives you a boost of self-confidence. And that's like a way that happened for me. I think just, stepping outside of like doing what I had to do, and just listening to myself, not in a non-judgmental way. Because when the person played it on their phone, I didn't know they were going to play that. So if I would have known that, I probably would have said, no, don't play it in here with everybody in
Right,
here,
right, right.
But it was just like it just happened. And that was kind of like, for me, that was the moment when I was like, hey, you do all right, girl. You can handle this, which is great because it was right before the show.
Right.
I went in with a little, pep in my step, but
And it's not like you knew. It's not like you didn't know that you could sing because you did.
right,
It was
right.
just another realm of performance
Yeah.
in that main scope for you. That was just like, oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I
Hmm.
gotta do this right now.
It's really haunting me. And I remember in the rehearsals, like I remember like my energy was I felt like my energy was giving everybody else a hard time because I feel like people were picking up on that energy, like, oh, it's not quite, And so yeah, that was really cool that somebody just was like, oh, you are singing in rehearsal, like, look,
Yeah.
girl, you're fine.
Wow.
You're gonna be okay. So yeah,
Wow.
that was a moment for me.
Wow. I love those moments. I used to not that I didn't like him. I just never knew how to handle it because I was so bashful and shy and just like, no,
What do
stop
you mean?
complimenting me.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
No, don't give me compliments. No. But now it's like I know how to take them.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Darling, I love compliments.
I listen,
I'm like, okay, thank you. That's great.
I do too because it truly keeps me humbled.
Yeah.
Compliments keep me humbled because and I don't know, that's such a weird thing to say, but it truly does
Yeah.
because it reminds me that I'm doing something good and it's not for me. Whenever you get words of affirmation from others, you know that it's not for what I'm doing, it's not for me. Whoa, it's for others. You know, that particular thing was for that person, and I touched that person. It wasn't for me. It wasn't let me give this to me, all glory to me,
Right.
all this to me. No, it was glory to God, but impactful for that person. And that's what makes me humble because it's the responsibility now that I know that every time I sing or every time I perform, that person is going to be watching me. And if I do it with a spirit of love and humility, humility, humility,
Humility. You got it.
that was rough.
Humidity.
Humility, right? Like the hotness, the heat.
Well, we are in Florida.
If I do it with in a spirit of humility, then I will have not tainted my witness. You know, and for me in life, whatever I do, wherever I go, I try to be as sane and nice, calm, ain't showing out, not a lot of all that cursing outside of my own home because people are watching me. A lot of people know me from the church. A lot of people know me to be Minister Darius. A lot of people know me for being actor and doing all of these things. And I have to know how to conduct myself because that is also important on your road of purpose. Because it's just when you have that stamp on you that says this person was his integrity was intact, his character was intact. You never saw him cuss out nobody, and even if he was justified in doing it, it's those things that lets a person know I can work with you. I can deal with. I can have you on my. I can work with you. I can have you on my projects. And for someone like us, people like us who do this as much as we do, those are words of affirmation. Those are words of confidence. Those are words of assurance. Those are words of love. when we can have people who don't know us, but they have heard so many great things about us that they want to work with us, you know? And that's the that's the assurance that my name is gonna be it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I don't have to I've already built it up. It's built inside of me, and now I'm working on the next generation, building it inside of them, letting them know that they don't have to go searching for it and trying to find it because it's already in them. I think that's a responsibility that we have as well, to let the younger generation know that they don't have to go searching for anything, that whatever they need is already inside of them, right? You don't have to go finding your purpose and finding your gifts and finding your no, it's inside of you. All you gotta do is keep learning, keep grasping, keep asking questions, keep thinking, keep being intuitive, and always just always want to learn. And the more you build that up, the more all of that thing inside of you, your purpose and all of that will be it'll just it'll make sense. It'll make sense. That's all I gotta say. It'll make sense. Any last things, Sophia, before we wrap up?
Um, no.
No?
Nope.
Listen, we do what we do and we do it strategically. We ain't gotta be talking all night for y'all to understand this purpose thing. This is purpose therapy, lip talk, purpose talk, and we're here to do it because it not only affects y'all, it affects us. And so we love what we do. We love doing it for you. We love the feedback that you give us because it allows us to come back with even greater topics and more to talk about and more to say, especially at the same time, just living life. And with living life, we have things to talk about because people are every day going through things that allows them or just have them questioning themselves and all that kind of stuff. And I get it all the time with my friends. So whatever I share with them, I can come back and share here, and be a blessing to somebody else, as well as myself. I know Sophia feels the same way, but by no means do we know all the answers at all. We are truly living this thing a day at a time. And so living your purpose is so like appropriate for this podcast because we don't just exist in this world and in this industry, we live it every single day. And it should show here. And when you do what you do out there, it should show in your life as well that you are living your purpose. And we will see y'all on that note next week with another show, with another installation of Lip Talk. And again, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all of that. Make sure to follow, make sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe. Lip Talk, be inclusive.